friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And this is actually a garden update. Even though I'll be shooting it in here, I will be inserting some pictures and some video clips I took today and yesterday out in the garden so you can see how things are coming. And today is August 27th, so that's where we're at. You'll probably be seeing this video a couple days from the day that I'm shooting it, so I just wanted to make sure you understood where we're at. Now here are some lemon cucumbers that I picked yesterday, and these are a darker yellow color than the first one I picked because I wanted to try that one because someone had said it's better if you pick them younger because their skin is more tender. Now I haven't cut into any of these yet, as you can tell, but the one I picked the other day, I'll put a couple pictures here, much lighter in color, almost more green than yellow, but it was still incredibly delicious. I cut it open, love the flavor, and no, it doesn't taste like a lemon at all. The name of it is in reference to the size, shape, and color of it, but I do like the flavor of this one. It's very cucumbery, but it just seems like it has a much better flavor than any of the other cucumbers I've grown. And the skin, at least on the one that I cut open the other day, was quite tender and delicious. So anyway, I'm looking forward to eating these. They are the last ones to come in. I only grew 2 cucumbers this year, but they were the last ones to give me fruit. And I did see someone say that they didn't think it was worth it. They didn't think it was prolific enough. I think it's doing about the same as my other cucumbers, just farther behind. But the seed that I got this from was actually from a dried up cucumber that Patrick brought up from his dad's down in Northern California. And then I just cut that open, or tore it open because it was dried up. Okay, well, I decided I'd just go get the one and get that cucumber and bring it in and show it to you. So when he brought it home, it wasn't dried up like this quite yet, but it was quite old. So you can see in there, you can see the seeds in there, and that's what I planted. So since these came from Northern California, a very different climate than up here in northwestern Washington, I'm going to try saving the seeds from one of the same way we did this one here, and just I'll just let it age out there on the vine, and then, you know, once I'm ready to pull everything out, I'll bring it in and let it finish drying inside, and then use that for seed for next year, and then see if maybe we get a better harvest, since now it will be grown here in our climate, in our greenhouse, rather than down in Northern California. So sometimes your vegetation, the seeds you get, wherever you get them from, especially if you get them from me and you live in a warmer climate, in a drier climate, they may not do as well for you as ones that you buy more locally. So though I will be selling my seeds, I do sell them more with people in the northern climates in mind. That does not mean, however, they will not work for you, because I know some people have bought some of our seeds like marshmallow and feverfew, and some people in different climates have been able to grow them quite well. It just really depends. So anyway, I am happy with these, and I will definitely be growing them again next year. And then right here are just a handful of my Chinese 5-color. I have a picture here I took where I could make sure I got one of each color so you can get a better idea. But even here in my hand, you can see there's still even more graduating color. So there's really more than 5 if you look at the difference, like between this yellow, this light orange, and this darker orange, and then an even darker and almost red. I didn't find a fully red one out there today, but this one's pretty close to being red. And so in case you didn't know, I finally had to look it up and figure it out. They start out as purple. This is the color they actually come in, which makes sense because the flower is purple. So then the pepper comes in purple, and then the next color it turns to, like this one is still not fully cream color. It's still a little bit purplish, but this is the next color it goes to. And then from there it goes to yellow. And then here's another shade of yellow here that's turning orange, and then light orange, and then dark orange, and then and then red. And they're edible at any stage. I do find that the red ones have more sweetness to them than the purple or cream colored ones, but they're all good. In fact, I took one of each color and cut it up and then stir fried it for lunch the other day with some zucchini, and it was really good, but really spicy. So I was like, my nose was running, my eyes were watering, but it was really good. So these are definitely worth it, if nothing else, just for the enjoyment of the beautiful colors of them. And I will certainly be growing those next year as well again. So moving on to a few other things. My corn is doing pretty good so far. Not a lot of it isn't getting as tall as it did last year and the year before, but I do have a few stalks that have gotten, you know, about 6 feet or so. I noticed the glass gem corn doesn't get as tall as some of the other corns that I've grown, but I really like it. I'm happy with it. And you know, and it is a beautiful corn when it's all done, and it's not very big, at least doesn't get very big for us here, but it's a popcorn. I've tried popping it once so far, and the results were not that great, but we've taken the corn and ground it up. It makes a great cornmeal for making cornbreads and stuff. It just has a different color. It's not yellow. It's almost, once you get it all together, because all the different colors, it's almost kind of a grayish color, but it doesn't look that bad. I would say kind of a purplish gray. So yeah, so it's doing good. I'll probably get about the same harvest as I have the last couple of years, and then next year I'm going to grow it twice as much. Though I don't know, I may go ahead and go back to trying the white eagle corn again next year. We'll see. But I do like the popcorn, growing a popcorn variety, simply because the way we use corn mostly around here really is as either a popcorn or as a corn meal for making cornbreads and various other things, or breading for things that we're going to fry. So right here, what I have are some herbs that I picked. These I picked yesterday and stuck in the fridge because I decided I wasn't quite ready to do this, but I'll be making some shampoo hopefully today. That's the plan. And so I've got some nasturtiums in here. I've got some thyme flowers. I've got calendula. I've got rose petals, sage, and then I have a few lavender flowers down here at the bottom because they were the first I picked. Oh, and some violas, of course. And I'll be making my shampoo using a bar of the flaxseed oil soap that I made. And I made this specifically for making a shampoo with, not so much for using as just a regular soap. Though I do have one in the shower I like using for washing my face with, because it's just very moisturizing, very soft. But it's almost too soft, and that's why I don't like it using as a regular soap. When it's all flaxseed or all hemp seed, it just makes oil. It just makes a much softer soap, but it is a great soap for making shampoo with. It last year I made the one with the hemp seed oil, and it turned out really good. So combining my fresh herbs this time, which is what I did last year, that's how I'm going to make the shampoo. However, and I talk about this in another this and that video that you'll see down the road, but I also have a dried herb blend with all these same kind of flowers and herbs in there for if I need to make another batch throughout the year and I don't have them coming in fresh. So I can make my shampoo out of either fresh herbs or dried herbs. But anyway, so that's what's going on there. So I got all these goodies still coming from the garden, and nasturtiums in particular are really good for helping with hair growth if some people are, you know, have hair loss or whatever, and all of these herbs in here are just really good for your hair in general. The apples, so you can see my little basket of apples. I didn't go out picking apples yet. I like to leave them till maybe mid-September, late September. They're better that way. However, these ones are actually quite tasty, and I don't think I'm going to do anything with these other than just eat them. Now, the reason I have these is because we got the gutters put on finally the other day, and Patrick had to go out and just cut back a whole bunch of stuff. Like the grapevines were coming up over the roof over here, so we had to get those out of the way. He had to cut my elderberries down really low, so I lost a lot of my elderberries, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. But the other thing was the the tree branches were growing up over the roof. So we needed to get all that out of the way for the gutter guys. And so he had to hack off a bunch of the apple tree branches, and there was a lot of really good apples on there. So I just went and picked them off the branches that were laying on the ground. And so I've just been eating them so far. But those apples out there will still have a lot of growth to go. And you can see some pictures here. I took some shots of some of the real heavy laden ones. Thankfully, those were on the side that were farthest away from the house, so I didn't have to worry about those getting hacked down. But then I'll be making some apple butters. I'm probably just going to be doing standard apple butter, but one of my favorite apple butters to make is a blueberry lemon. So I just use my own homegrown blueberries, throw in a couple slices of lemon with the peel and all, and then the apples, and that makes a really yummy apple butter. So but I'm going to stick to the standard, you know, cinnamon apple butter. But I have a recipe that I did last year on, I think it was a plum apple butter, I think, and I'll go ahead and link to that up here and down below if you'd like to check it out. But the other thing I'm going to be doing is with the apples as they come in, is the berry applesauce. That's, you know, when it comes to making applesauce, I don't really like just plain applesauce. But if I take some of my homegrown blueberries or raspberries, so we didn't have any raspberries this year, I still have raspberries frozen up from a couple years ago, or the blackberries that we pick wild, and combine that in there and don't add any sugar, just the apples and the berries, it makes a really good applesauce just like that. I don't have to add any sugar or anything to it. It's quite tasty, so I really like it that way. So I will be doing some more of that this year, even though I still have a bunch in storage from the past 2 years because I don't go through it fast enough. I kind of forget it's back there. And then as you can see, tomatoes, not all of these did I pick this morning, but some of these are from the other day, like these big ones here. This is the purple, which I believe is the Cherokee. And in case you haven't heard the story yet, the reason I don't know which purple variety these ones are, I'm guessing they're Cherokee because they look like a Cherokee, especially from what everyone else has been telling me. But a few years ago, I had bought a box of heirloom tomatoes from the store, and they had just a mix of tomatoes. They had yellow and orange and red and green and purple ones in there of all different shapes and sizes. And the one that I liked the best was the purple one that was in there. So they didn't have them tagged as to the exact variety that they were. I just knew that I liked that one. So I thought, hey, I'll save some seeds from this. I know it's organic and it's heirloom, so I feel good about that. And so last year was the first year I tried growing them, but I only grew them outside. They did pretty good considering that I grew them outside the greenhouse because I simply didn't have room in the greenhouse. Well, this year I planted them in the greenhouse, trying them again from the seed that I saved from last year, and boy, they're doing really good. The funny thing about them is they were the last ones to start getting ripe. Now, I'm not going to say that they're prolific, like I have tons of fruit on them, but most of them are pretty, you know, are a nice size, as opposed to like the little Italian tomatoes. This is the biggest I get of the Costoluto Genovese. Nice flavor tomato, really good for going into sauces and stuff like that. And then the Romas that I grow is the Rio Grande, which cracks me up because they're not grande at all. The whole plant is actually more of a dwarf plant, which is one of the reasons I like them. And then I can grow them in the center of the greenhouse so they don't block out so much light for the rest of the items. But they get heavy with fruit. They have like a whole bunch of tomatoes just in one little area, and so that's one of the reasons I like them. And then being a Roma tomato, they're also really great for sauce. And then here, these are smaller ones. These tomatoes don't get very big, but I do get bigger and did get bigger ones than this. I just didn't pick any today. These are the black Japanese trifele, I believe it's called. These are a great salad tomato, but also really good in sauces. I actually take all the tomatoes that I grow, including the black vernissage, like these. Even though these are great, the things I love, I've definitely grown these again because they're the first ones to start putting on fruit. They're a great tomato to snack on, to add to salads, but I will also throw these in with all these tomatoes here, and I put them in the blender and process them up, pour them out onto the fruit roll-up trays, the fruit roll trays. that go on my dehydrator after I kind of grease it down a little bit with some avocado oil, dehydrate it up, and then just break it up into flakes. And this is the 4th jar that I've started so far. I've got another tray out there. I'll be blending these up and making a couple more trays. A couple of these though I'm saving for this weekend because we're having a family get together, and you know, a couple of these nicer ones, especially these rounder ones that will slice good for putting on hamburgers. So we're having a family barbecue this weekend out at the property, our rain country retreat, and my brother's coming from Olympia, so that's really cool, and it should be really fun. I'm just praying the weather holds out. But anyway, that's what I'm saving those for. The rest I'm going to process up and then and make the flakes out of them. I'm hoping to get 5-quart jars total at least of my flakes, even though I don't really even need that many. I still have flakes from 2017 and from 2018 that I need to finish working through. But anyway, it's just a great way to thicken up my sauces and or to make a direct sauce out of, or even make ketchup out of, because you can control just how much liquid is in there, and you don't have to worry about buying tomato paste from the store or anything like that. You could, or cooking your tomatoes down for 3 days or however long it takes to get a good tomato paste. So I can just take my tomato flakes and then just add whatever amount of water I need to make the sauce the thickness I want it. So that's why I like working with flakes. Also, even though I have a whole bunch of canned tomatoes from like 3 years in a row, I think it goes back to 2016, I'm really liking the flakes because they take up less room in storage, and I can just dehydrate them and put them up as they're coming in instead of having to wait for a bunch all at once to fill up my canner. And as you can see, I still have this big zucchini yet to cut into. I'm pretty sure it's pretty porous and pithy, at least on this end. We'll see what the seeds look like. I probably should have just left this one on there and let it just totally go do its own thing so I could use it for seed, but we'll see how it turns out. One thing I found out about the Black Beauty zucchini is that even when you leave them a little bit too long, they still are pretty, you know, they still have some pretty solid fruit in them. So at least at this end, I might still have some pretty good fruit in there. We'll find out once I cut it open, which I might do today. And then here's another one over here, and then I still have more zucchini out there still growing, and we'll see. I have yet to actually save zucchini seed, and I've always end up just buying it because of all the different squash that I grow. But now that I'm growing my zucchini out in the front yard, I think I might be fairly safe to not have to worry about the cross-pollination, and I don't think the zucchini would cross with the particular squash that I have out there. So this year I am going to try saving some seed and then see how it does next year. I'll still plant some packaged seed just in case, so I can, you know, and then I can at least compare them side by side and see which ones do better for me and make sure I don't end up with some kind of weird squash out there. But anyway, the Black Beauties I've just been very happy with. They've been a great zucchini for us. Now, as far as anything else in the garden, there's not a whole lot different. Like the garden huckleberries, I'm still waiting on them to get to that point where I can start picking them. The beans are just sitting there doing their thing. I'm just letting them finish out. They're getting quite big, as they do, as you can see in this picture right here. And so I just gonna let them finish doing that. I even have a bean out on my apple tree that's getting about this big now, and the ones that I'm growing around the little apple tree, if you saw my garden update from last year. And so, and the grapes are still coming along. They won't be ready for probably another month. I think it's usually October that I pick the grapes, and then I'll be trying to go get busy right away and juice them up so I can put up another batch of wine out of the fresh grapes, because those ones make the best wine, and then freeze whatever I'm not ready to deal with right away, because I can still make wine out of that and it's still good. It's just that the color and the flavor of the wine turns out so much better from the ones you make straight off the vine. Those ones are so good. So anyway, there's my garden update for this week. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.